Well, welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen. Delighted to be here on this beautiful Tuesday, talking about awakening and ways that we can awaken humanity. Wake them up. Wake up, people. It's time to wake up to humanity. What can we do to make a difference on the planet? How can each and every one of us be responsible for doing something to help others, inspire others, motivate others, wake people up to what is possible? So often we are just getting the same message over and over and over again. This show is really about giving you new ideas, new strategies, tips, and tools that you can use to awaken yourself, ignite yourself, spark yourself, enliven yourself in so many different ways. Because when you shine your light, you give people the ability to shine their light. And what we love to do is talk about ignite moments, those moments in people's lives where something has happened to them to wake them up. Something has happened that has shown them a new trajectory, new possibilities, new information, new knowledge, new skills, new talents that they can use to not only help themselves, but help the people around them. And that ultimately leads to igniting humanity. When each and every one of us steps up, well, we make an opportunity for people to step up around us. Life is important. Humanity is valuable. We all want an incredible future. And this is what this show is all about. All right, well, let's meet today's wonderful guest, Yeliena Theofilatos. I'm going to say her name incorrectly. She's going to help me. Is a seasoned anxiety hypnotherapist and coach, as well as the CEO of My Blooming Heart Hypnotherapy and Coaching. In her practice, she expertly blends hypnosis with nervous system regulation techniques to aid entrepreneurs in achieving inner peace and unshakable self-trust. Yeliena employs hypnotherapy to help her clients tap into their latent strengths and overcome limiting beliefs. Additionally, she provides coaching on a nervous system regulation technique, teaching her clients to fundamentally alleviate anxiety and foster an optimal state of mental and emotional well-being. She is obviously helping humanity, and we're going to find out more about that. All right, welcome her to the show. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yay. Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
Thank you for being here. Blessed and wonderful. You're up early and in Hawaii, so we love that. People from all over the globe coming onto the show. Let's talk a little bit right out of the gate about what you do and share what is hypnotherapy so people really understand that as we continue with the conversation.
Sure. I definitely love starting with providing my own definition of hypnotherapy so that we know that we are on the same page because there's all kinds of ideas, a lot of misconceptions about what hypnotherapy is. So, what I like to tell people, especially if they have never experienced hypnosis, that it's just like guided meditation, but on steroids,
Mm.
meaning that guided meditation, a lot of times, it's something nice to listen to and can have a certain therapeutic effect. Of course, there's a reason why we're listening to those. We want those messages to come along with us. But hypnosis, especially if the people are well trained in how to use language and they use it to make those guided meditations very much tailored to the person in front of them, that's those additional steroids that make it so effective for the person in front of them. So, yeah, hypnotherapy is guided meditation on steroids.
And so what it's really doing is, and sort of us, when we think about steroids, we kind of think about like jacking it up and making it more intense. It's not necessarily that. It's like speaking to the very most important, most receptive part of the brain, the part of the brain that can be most adaptable. Share a little bit about that.
That's a good question because I myself have been contemplating that a lot. What is this so-called subconscious mind? There is such a thing as subconscious mind. According to the science, the neuroscience that studies the mind, there is no such a thing as a subconscious mind that is separate, like in a box from our conscious mind. It's all together. There is
Mm.
subconscious processes, but yes, there are ways to address them in a much more effective manner than just conversing about them. Because when we are having this back and forth conversation, all of those things that I say that do have therapeutic value, perhaps to the person in front of me, they don't have an opportunity to really land. But when
Mm.
they are in this focus state, absorbed into the experience, they have a chance to just be with those suggestions a little longer. And it can be as simple as that, as spending those time to really considering. And a lot of times in hypnotherapy, we don't really use this straightforward literal language. There's a lot of metaphors, and they are very absorbing as well, and helping people to make changes from that deeper layer of themselves as well. So focus and the metaphors and the stories in the hypnotherapy, that what really gets our deeper mind engaged.
Yeah, and it really is not about thinking differently or thinking that you can think differently or convincing yourself to think differently. It's really about working more with the rooted understanding. Talk a little bit about how you shared overcoming limiting beliefs and how hypnotherapy can help people with the things that's holding them back.
Definitely, I actually have an example to share about that. I think
Yes,
that might be
please.
helpful as well.
Hmm.
So let's say a person, actually the person who I work with her yesterday, has a limiting belief that she is just got to be on edge for the rest of her life. That's just how it is, and nothing can change it. What she wants to do, what she wants to learn, be okay with spaciousness when it comes into her life. Instead of planning everything and everyone, she wants to be okay when the life, quote unquote, throws a curveball. But she really believes that she doesn't have that in her, that she needs to somehow bring it from someplace else. And what I found out about her and use it in hypnosis is that she plays golf. And when she plays golf, she's just so fully present and absorbed in the moment. Nothing really matters. The rest of the world falls away. She actually showed me the whole thing, how she composes herself, what kind of a mantra she tells herself in her mind before she hits the ball. And as she was doing it, her whole demeanor, she came in like almost shaking into my office. But when she was doing it, everything changed. She was just so present and enjoying herself with every moment and every word that she was telling me to explain what she was doing in a moment. So that was her hypnotizing herself in a
Mm.
sense to connect to that resource that she's already have. And then my job is to invite her into a attentional absorption state when she closes her eyes and goes inside, and then invite her to entertain the idea what it will be like when she takes that resource that she already have, her ability to somehow just be in the moment and be so present, and basically, like I like to say it, copy and paste it over all of those time, the rest the times in her life when she needs it the most. And when I say it just like this, it might not make sense to her. She'll be like, what are you trying to do? But somehow in hypnosis, we are much more open just to experiment and try such a thing. And that's not something she's going to be doing deliberately. Oh, I'm just going to go and copy and paste it over here. No, she will just try it on by that deeper mind, if you will. And that will create a change in her belief about like what she's capable of doing. And this is when I consider my job to be done, when she changed her idea of what she can and cannot do and realize that she's already competent. She just needs to uncover that unconscious competence.
Mm. It's a very good point because a lot of us have moments in our life or skills, techniques, and tools that we use and we're really, really good at. We're really effective. We're really on point. We're really at our best. We're really in our joy or our bliss. And if we can really consciously be aware of those times and what is it we're doing and what are the parameters potentially around that experience, how can we then teleport, copy and paste that into our other experiences, that same mindset, that same belief system, that same knowingness, that same trust. It's actually quite fascinating, folks. Think of a time when you feel really at your best, when you're really at peace and enjoyment and good at and doing something well. How can you then again use that same state in the times when life is a bit more challenging? Sometimes people think hypnotherapy is, hypnotizing people to do something they don't want to do. Can you talk about that old judgment or old belief system around hypnotherapy?
Yeah, correct. The biggest misconception out there that hypnosis is some kind of a mind control that a
Mm.
lot of people they're put off by that, understandably so. And there's another camp of people who actually likes that because it feels like hypnosis is some kind of a magic wand that I can just, use it to make you all better in one session, which is also a defeating kind of a stance because that takes away the power from the people to create the change themselves. And that what ultimately I want my clients to become aware of, that they are change makers in their own internal world. But to speak to that mind control misconception that's out there, I believe that it originated in what's so-called stage hypnosis shows when people watch a group of volunteers coming on stage and there's a stage hypnotist that tells them all kind of silly things to do and they follow through. They actually do all of those silly things and the crowd cheers them on and everybody's laughing. And this is how people get that idea that, oh,
Mm.
there must be something in there that, will make me bark like a dog and etc. While in reality, if you think about, and there's actually a really great chapter written on that subject in the book called Trance Work by one of my mentors. He explains it so well how stage hypnosis shows it's mainly about peer pressure, the desire to please and perform. It's social psychology. There's
Mm.
some hypnosis to it. There's definitely skillfulness of the hypnotist who engages people into this like focused state of mind is definitely in there. But the way he picks the subject, the fact that people who are on the stage, they kind of already have this dramatic flair about them and they want to play along, they want to
Mhm.
please the audience. And there's also this ability just blaming everything on hypnosis. It's like some people like blame it, what they like behavior on being intoxicated or drunk, like, oh, I was just drunk, that
Correct.
happened. And they
Mhm.
can do all kinds of silly things they want and they can get away with it. And because they can just say like, oh, I couldn't control myself, that was that mind control. In reality, it's all very much pick the people who come on the stage are chosen to
Mm.
obey
Mhm.
and play along with the suggestions. So my mentor who wrote that book goes to at least once stage hypnosis show a year just to remind himself how much he hates them for doing this kind of a, in a way we can look at this both ways. It's a bit of a disservice because the majority of people, what they take away from it, oh, hypnosis is some kind of a mind control. But there's another group of people that that's the way they get exposed to hypnosis in the
Correct.
first time, and it just comes into the world. And maybe, hopefully, from that point on, then they do some research on it and find a therapeutic hypnosis.
I was
But
just going to
yeah.
say that hypnotherapy is very different than hypnosis in the sense that hypnotherapy is really designed to be supportive, to be encouraging, to help that healing, that forgiving, that moving forward, that really therapeutic, healthy
Mhm.
wellness version and piece to it. Talk a little bit about how people can use hypnotherapy to actually tap into what already they have within them. It's not like you're giving them something they don't have. You're just kind of opening the valve for them or clearing some of the blockages to some of the skills that they actually inherently have.
Mhm. I can definitely share about the self hypnosis practice that I do myself, and I just teach everyone to do so. Let's
Yes, tell
say,
us.
awesome. They have a goal of some sorts to, let's say, feel better. I don't know, overall, and it hangs on and they're being able to do a certain thing. So let's say they want to feel calmer and being able to slow down throughout the day. That's a lot of people with anxiety wants to do and just still be productive, still get the things done. And for them to be able to really embody that kind of a stance of mind, they need to imagine themselves already being able to do so. And that's the whole trick. The mind is so powerful. So, what I tell them to do is to, okay, you have this goal in your mind. You kind of have an idea of what you want to achieve. you invite yourself into this internal state. We know everyone knows how to do it. It's not really that unusual. Let's say we're just having a moment to ourselves and we're reading a book and we're getting so absorbed in the process. Let's just take this whole ability to get absorbed and bring it into free three deep breaths. So they take three deep breaths, they just let everything go, and then they imagine themselves on that day when they're already doing what they want to do. They're slowing down, they taking things at their own pace, and they're still very productive. And then I ask them to ask themselves a number of questions that would allow them to put all kinds of details, add all the dimensions to that what's going to be happening then. And they ask themselves, okay, what I'm going to be thinking, what I'm going to be feeling, how my body will be like, what kind of a perspective I'm going to have, what people will notice about me that will be different about me, how they're going to respond to me being able to move through my day in this way. And they're not just answering those intellectually, they actually imagining it all happening. And when they tap into feeling great, they're probably going to feel great as a result of imagining that perfect day. I then ask them to come up with a name for it and a way, a gesture that they can do to evoke that resource later, like in their actual day to day life. And they take the moment, they say the word, okay, peace, and they make a gesture a lot of times with hands and heart, like a your thumb to your index finger. And I tell him, okay, take a moment, imagine everything, and make the gesture, say the word, kind of glue them all together because it becomes your anchor for that
Mm,
resource that you can tap into at any time. And then give yourself, Leslie, the suggestion to use this anchor because it's just like with foreign language. If we don't use it, we're going to lose it. So the
mm,
next time you need a little bit of that resource, a reminder how you are feeling, how good it feels to be this way so that you can actually basically fake it till you make it to that
mm.
perfect day that you're envisioning. Use the word, make that gesture, and really take a moment and allow all of those positive feelings to wash over that empowering stance that you chose to have, and take a step towards that perfect day that you envision, and another one, and so on.
I think it's so good to give a suggestion for people to create a practice or something that is going to activate or trigger them to lean into their greatness. Is it the power victory stance? Is it, pulling on their ear? Is it,
Mhm.
whatever it is? Is it putting on that music? Is it doing that little dance? Whatever it is, but
Mhm.
creating something in your life so that you can utilize that for all the times that you want to change your state, up level your state, increase your state. What a great suggestion. On the spirit of today as an awakening day, do you have some other ideas that we can wake up to and something that will awaken our viewers into using your practices and your techniques to just help themselves? Because this is really what humanity is about. When we work on ourselves, we then create this ripple effect for people out and around us.
Definitely. There's a couple of things I could say. The number one, in the line with what we were talking about until this moment, it's about noticing the positives about you and your life. And we're
Mm,
all familiar with a version of it, which is called the gratitude journaling, when we take the time in the morning on the end of the day and just make a list of the things that we are grateful for. It doesn't matter how small they are, they can go on that list. That's one version of doing that. There's another version of doing that is when you want to create a certain change. Let's say you're changing a difficult habit that
mm-hmm,
you have maybe some shame around. It's been some, a few different tries that you went for it and you were not as successful as you wanted to. And what I tell people in this case is to take a moment in the end of the day and write about every time that, let's say, if you try to quit smoking, that you resisted, that you didn't follow through on that craving. Make the note of when you could have smoked, like because there was the context, like you were going out with your friends, but you chose
mm-hmm,
not to. A lot of
mm,
times when we're still in that habit, whatever it is, because we're not like completely done with it, we tend to focus on everything that we're doing wrong, ultimately creating more shame and demotivating ourselves, when in reality, we of course need to acknowledge the fact that we, could have chosen differently, but we followed the craving at that moment. But ultimately, we need to focus and amplify in our consciousness all of those moments when we do choose to do it differently, to do it in the line with what we want to create, because that will give us hope, and that
Mm-hmm.
will give us perseverance and energy to continue to do the work and get there one day.
Yeah, I so agree. Like focus on the good. Focus on all the times that you actually did it differently than you've done before, even though it wasn't perfect. No such thing as perfect, but all the times that you
Mhm.
did do a great job, absolutely give yourself some gratitude. Can you share a little bit about your Ignite moment? Did this become important to you?
Well, my Ignite moment, the one that comes to mind the most, perhaps I would say they're connected for sure. Although at that point, when I made the decision that I'm about to share, I was not necessarily training anything. I was not aware of my latent strength. I was going to find out about them later on. I had no choice. So I came to the States. I'm from Russia originally. I came to the States when I was 20, and I was not planning on staying, but I really, really did not like being in a profession that I was. I was entering the field of finance and banking. I was about to graduate university in Russia. So I was supposed to do my summer in New York City and go back. And midsummer, I realized I don't want to go. I don't want to go back. I want a different life, and New York City with all of the spirit of possibilities and all of those people being creative and living a life that they really want. Mind you, I left New York City for a reason. There is a lot of problematic stuff about it too. But at that very moment, I realized, oh, well, I matter. Like what I really wanted to do, become a psychotherapist since I was like a young teenager, that can actually happen. And
Right.
that can actually happen, that just a moment of faith and self-belief, and realizing that failing now is no longer scary because going back to what I don't want is scarier. That was my ignite me moment
Mhm.
that rippled effect into the rest of my life, and why I'm here now talking to you.
It's really important to follow those moments, those prompts, those little nudges, that faith, that belief. Because ultimately, I always tell people, like, if you think it or you believe it or you want it, it's because the universe wants it for you. And what we want wants us. And so when we want something deeply, it's because that wants us to become that. And I always say you got to be it to become it. It's not going to happen right away. You just got to keep being it and being it and being it, and eventually you will become it. So great story and great inspiration. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have moved from their home to another place, not thinking it was possible, potentially feeling like they had to follow the rules or do what was assigned to them or expected of them. And then just really following their gift has ultimately led to joy, peace, and harmony. So grateful and so appreciate that. In the realm of the work that you do, how do you feel this is going to help humanity?
The work that I do, everything that I just said about helping people to tap into the latent skills that are already have, and also help them to amplify the positives in their lives and in themselves, I believe that it's empowering. It
Mhm.
also helps them to realize that it's already is within them. They got it. They're on the way to their goals. And this is why I take a different stance that maybe a lot of hypnotherapists or psychotherapists do. I'll help them feel expert on themselves because they are truly, and
Mhm.
being resourceful and continue just to tap into their strength instead of telling them what to do. I do educate them as well, but ultimately for me is all about highlighting what they have and really making them realize, making them really tap into this. I got this. Oh,
Mm.
wait a minute. I had it all along. And
Mm.
taking it further and further into the rest of their lives.
So well said. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Yeliena Theofilatos. Tell me how to say it. Theofilatos.
Yeah, Theofilatus.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's folks, let's share Yelena's website with you, mybloomingheart.com, if you want to know more what she's up to and share a little bit. Yeliena, what would you like to leave our audience with, just so they know they get that final little spark today on a Tuesday?
I just want to let them know that a lot of times you might underestimate yourself, but if you took a moment and really make a list of all the things that you have done in your life, however small they are, you will realize that you're so much more capable than you think and that you got this.
So well said. We are so much more capable than we think, and we've got this. Thank you for being here. Thanks for getting up early. Thanks for igniting our lives and sharing your heart with us. We really deeply appreciate the possibilities, the opportunities, the things that we can do. Thank you so much, and blessings to you.
Thank you.
Well, always interesting to hear about new things and new ways for us to work on ourselves. It's not out there all the time. The answer is not out there. Many times it's within us, and using different skills and tools provided by people who have worked in the industry to help foster you uncovering your greatest potential and eliminating limiting beliefs to really reach your true self and those desires and those talents that you have. It's phenomenal. Imagine if we were all living in the center of what was possible for us, if we were all doing exactly what we loved, and if we were all fostering our talents and growing through them, increasing them, improving them, and elevating them. Imagine how fun that would be for everybody. That would truly make a difference in humanity. Well, if you'd like to know how we're making a difference, we'd love for you to go on over to our website, ignitehumanity.life. That's right, .life, because we want to bring life to each and every person on the planet, igniting them in new and unique ways. We're doing something wonderful, which is part of why we have stepped into this Ignite philosophy, is helping people tell their Ignite moments, share their powerful Ignite stories in the written word. We publish compilation books, and we're doing something magnificent, the Ignite Humanity compilation book. We're hoping to put 280 authors in one single book, 880 pages of people who have been through Ignite moments that have helped them want to inspire humanity. Something has happened in their life that has made them truly feel like, because of that, they have a desire to help others and ignite humanity. And we would love for you to be a part of that book. If you're interested, please reach out to ignitehumanity.life and click on our apply button, and you can tell us more about what you're up to and apply to be in that book. If you'd like to be on the show, well, we would love to have you, because we want to hear from people all over the globe. It's important that someone says on this show speaks to you. Maybe not every single guest is going to be your thing, but one of our guests is going to say something, and that's going to truly make a difference in the lives of others. If you want to be one of those guests, please share with us and fill out our type form. Tell us about you, what you're up to, what you do, and how you ignite humanity. We would love to hear it. And as we are coming close to May, you won't believe it, we're going to be in Las Vegas doing an incredible Ignite Gather-Rama event, bringing together all of our community, many of our speakers, dozens and dozens and dozens of our authors, and so many people who have been on this show talking about how they are not only igniting humanity, but igniting their brand and their business and their book and their breakthroughs. And we'd love to have you there. All right, have a fantastic day. Go out and ignite your life and do something wonderful. And we shall see you tomorrow.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.